What is up everyone, welcome back to another video. FPL Harry here, and today I'm taking you through 5 players you need to buy in your FPL team. What is up everyone, FPL Harry here and welcome back to another video, and today something slightly different to what we've done so far during the season. I'm going to take you through 5 players I've been really impressed with, both in terms of their FPL returns but also in terms of their eye test and me watching them, that I think we should really be considering in terms of our FPL teams. Now, we often see these videos and I often do them and they contain 10-15 players, and there's a lot of them in there that I don't actually think are really going to be owned, and they're just sort of in there to create the video or to create the content. But actually I've decided to narrow it down to just 5 picks. We've got defenders, midfielders and forwards all in here, and I actually think all of these options really should be considered in our teams, and I'll go through all of them in a little bit more detail than maybe I would and explain why I think we should get them. There are a few of them that are even in my current transfer plans to fit into my squad. Now, some of the price points don't work, but there are a couple of them that I definitely think I could go into game week 3 with. So we're going to start up front with Toney. He's looked really good so far with 1 goal and 2 assists despite having a difficult run of opening fixtures. A lot of people didn't own Toney in game week 1 because they had difficult fixture in game week 1 and game week 2 against Leicester and Manchester United, but he has shown that he can get returns even in those. 2 starts, 17 points so far with 8.5 points per start, and the fixtures on the horizon are only going to go and get better. You can see the sea of greens down there, including Fulham and Everton in there next to. Really like what he can offer. The signing of Damsgaard at Brentford as well is only going to make Toney a better option. Over this run, he's predicted to score 32 points over the next 6 game weeks. Again, you can see the fixtures down at the bottom, the fixtures that run that he has over this time, and at 7 million he could be an absolute bargain. Those of you looking for a potential Nunez replacement, a potential Mitrovic replacement, if you are looking to sell those players, Toney is the forward I'd probably go with. We have another forward later on in the list who I also think is worth considering, but Toney at 7 million is probably the one that I'd go with. He's shown the form so far, he's shown it last season as well, he's on penalties. That sort of back 4, now front 3 that they are playing with is really playing into his strength, and I think way more on the wing, Toney in the middle, and then another winger, whether it's Damsgaard, whether it's Wieser out on the other hand side, is really going to boost their productivity. And this fixture run is great, and he could be a big differential because at the moment he is under 10% owned, so really a good one to look at for your next couple of transfers. Next up, we have Mark Cucurella at Chelsea. Now, Brighton shirt on in the picture, but of course has made that summer transfer to Chelsea and has been priced at just 5 million. First game week, in game week 1, he came on as a substitute for Ben Chilwell, where Thomas Tuchel later said that he's not completely happy with the fitness that Chilwell is showing so far this season. He then started game week 2 with Chilwell being on the bench. He picked up an assist against Tottenham with 4 points, so 4 points average per start and 1 assist. Now, the opening couple of fixtures for Chelsea were okay, particularly that Tottenham game in game week 2 put a lot of people off, but those of you looking to invest in the Chelsea defence, looking at Reece James, I think Cucurella could be an even better option at $1 million price saving. Now, a lot of you are going to sit there and ask, well, as a Chelsea fan, do I think Cucurella is going to continue to start? And I do, and the reason for it is the comments that Tuchel has made around Ben Chilwell. He started in the under-23 games on Monday night, Ben Chilwell, so he's obviously not fully fit, and Tuchel has concerns on that. Cucurella has looked really good since he's come into the team, of course getting that assist in game week 2, but also when he came off the bench in game week 1, he's looked electric. He also has the ability to play at left centre back if the worst came to the worst, but I do think he'll continue at left wing back as well. Those fixtures on the horizon are really nice. They've got Leeds and Leicester in the next 2, and then Southampton and West Ham following that as well. Chelsea have looked good defensively, and their wing backs, we know what they can do. We've seen it from Chilwell, we've seen it from Reece James in the past seasons, and Cucurella coming in at 5 million. I don't necessarily think he's going to be nailed as a Chelsea defender for the rest of the season, but for the next few games until we play that early wildcard, I think he could be an absolutely fantastic option and is a massive differential this week. Again, he's likely to be highly transferred in given his performance in game week 2. People might be put off a little bit about whether Ben Chilwell is going to come back into the side or not, but for me, he is going to be that left wing back for the next few games for Chelsea, and at 5 million could be an absolute steal. Next up, another defender, and it is a 4.0 million defender in Neco Williams. Now, he's highly owned, but there are a lot of you who'll be sitting with him on your benches. So this is both a, you need to buy him, and if you already own him, this is a, you need to start putting him in your starting 11. This guy could be this season's John Lundstrom, for anyone who remembers him from a couple of seasons ago. He has started both games for Nottingham Forest this season after his move from Liverpool. Didn't get any points in the first one, but a clean sheet in game week 2 as he looked really impressive, and Nottingham Forest kept a clean clean sheet against West Ham. Again, that means he's averaged 3.5 points per start. A bit fortunate to keep a clean sheet in game week 2, but he's looked so good. He's on set pieces, he's on corners, he's on some free kicks as well. The way he gets up that right-hand side, he's definitely got attacking output in them. And we know Nottingham Forest are going to need to be good defensively if they're going to win games, because they're unlikely to score that many goals this season. In terms of their fixtures, again, Game week 3 season play Everton, which is great. Game week 4 and 5 is a little bit more difficult against Tottenham and Manchester City, but after that is where the real good fixture run starts. From game week 6 onwards, with Bournemouth and Leeds onwards, they have a really nice run of fixtures, and Neco Williams could start in your team every single week if you wanted to. He's only predicted to score 14 points over the next 6 game weeks, and this is because these models are not very complimentary of the newly promoted teams to start the season, and they do play Tottenham and Manchester City in the next 2 as well. However, 4.0 million, he needs to be starting for you. If you don't own him, he's the best 4.0 million option. The way he's getting forward on set pieces as well. I have Patterson of Everton in my team, and I wish I'd gone with Neco Williams. He looks like a much better option out of the 2. So he is definitely the cheap option to go with. He's probably better buy than any of the 4.5 million defenders in the game as well. He's probably the one that I would go with, and I'm looking to buy him this week as well. Again, not predicted that many points, but the way he looked in terms of the eye test in game week 2 particularly, those points are going to come. Next up, we have Manchester City midfielder Ilkay Gundogan coming in at 7.5 million. So that 0.5 million saving on all of those 8 million midfielders is the real benefit that you get with this guy. We have remember in the past couple of seasons what Gundogan is capable of doing when he gets a consistent run of starts. Now, last year he was a little bit out of favour. They went with Bernardo Silva a lot of the time in those positions. Now, Bernardo Silva is linked with Barcelona. We don't necessarily think he's actually going to make that move, but Gundogan has already shown why that spot in that Manchester City team should be his. He's got 13 points in the first 2 games, scoring a goal in the most recent game against Bournemouth. He's looked so good in that double midfield role with Kevin De Bruyne as well. With this in mind, he's predicted to score a massive 29 points over the next 6 game weeks. Again, at just 7.5 million could be an absolute bargain, particularly those of you looking for that 8 million midfielder or even slightly cheaper to save a little bit of money. Those Manchester City fixtures as well are too good to look at. Again, they play Newcastle, Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest in their next 3. If Gundogan continues to start, there are definitely points for him. The way he gets late runs into the box, the way he shoots, the way he passes the ball as well. Goals and assists will definitely come for him. And at the moment, he is a big differential as well. That low ownership that we can see from him, if he continues to get that run of starts, people remember what he did in the past couple of seasons and remember they need to bring him back into their teams just like you guys do. I am definitely considering it. I have Saka in my team at the moment and I'm not loving the returns that he's giving me. I'll probably give Saka the next fixture, but after that, I will definitely look to bring in Gundogan if he does not return in game week 3. So Gundogan, a great one, and it saves that 0.5 million on all of the other 8 million midfielders. That Manchester City attack will score goals, so having a piece of it that's likely to start most weeks could be brilliant. And finally, we end with another forward. Just before we get into them, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. So we end with Danny Welbeck of Brighton. It seems that Neil Maupay is on his way to Nottingham Forest, as he was not in the squad for Brighton in game week 2, and there's been heavy links between the 2 clubs and that player. So with that in mind, even though Welbeck was starting already when Maupay was in the team, it looks like he's going to continue to start and be even more nailed once Maupay makes the move. Again, 6.5 million for me is probably my favourite cheaper forward to buy going into game week 3 and beyond. Again, we had Toney up at 7 million. If you can't quite afford him, I really like what Welbeck can offer. Now, he's only had 1 assist so far this season, but he's looked really good. Brighton did fail to score in game week 2, which hence means the attacking returns for some of their attackers have not been that great. But Welbeck, we know, and has shown in previous seasons and last season in particular, what he can do when he stays fit and how clinical he can be in front of goal. He's predicted to score just under 20 points, but again, this takes into account we don't know how nailed he is and how often he's actually going to be starting games. But for me, I can't see him being dropped now, given the performance he showed, the work rate he showed in game week 1, and how Brighton have played with him in the team in last season as well. The fixtures are a sea of green. They play West Ham away in game week 3, which is still good. West Ham have conceded goals quite a lot already this season, and they don't have a fully fit defence as well. And then after that, it is a run of green fixtures, Leeds and Fulham in the next 2 as well, followed by Leicester and Bournemouth going into the game weeks 5 and 6 as well. So really like this forward option. He's definitely one I'm looking at, potentially moving the squad structure of my team around a little bit to play 3 up front, and either Ivan Toney or Danny Welbeck are the 2 that I'm really looking at. Let me know what you think about the 5 players that I really think you should consider owning. Again, I'm not just sort of putting a couple of players in here for, oh, these could be interesting differentials. These are 5 players that I really think you guys could buy and own and do well over the next few weeks as well. Let me know what you think of these 5. Are there any other players that you think are essential buys going into the next few? There were a few other players that I considered in the 4.5 million defender bracket, like Castagna, like Sufal, for example. So let me know what you think. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know how you got on in Game Week 2 as well. Any questions going into Game Week 3, drop it all in the comment section down below and I'll do my best to answer it before the Game Week 3 deadline. But there'll also be more videos and a live stream before that deadline as well. So make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications. Thank you all for watching and I'll be back again very soon.